All right, guys, Bryan with SoCo Customs reminding you that Raptors are just Range Rovers for cool dads. What's up, guys? Bryan with SoCo Customs, and off-road is back. Much like the 90s and early 2000s, where there were a bunch of off-road editions of vehicles, those are all coming back with Chevy with their Trail Boss. You've got Ford and Ram just battling out Baja style. It's awesome. It's a great time to be in the automotive market, but I'm here to answer the question of whether it is a good idea to buy one of those vehicles or just build your own. But first, let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping. Like we always say, for those of you that are returning, make sure you click that bell symbol. Just let yourself know anytime we post new content. For those of you that are brand new, welcome. Make sure to click the bell, click the thumbs up, click subscribe, and comment below because it does help us get in front of eyes just like yours. Thanks for joining us. As you can see by this wall behind me, by the hat I'm wearing, by the King Suspension t-shirt I am wearing, I'm a little bit biased, and I will do nothing in this video to hide that bias. Much like you would wish politicians would wear logos on their jackets of who is sponsoring them, I'm gonna tell you right now that I am a little bit biased towards the aftermarket. Surprise, surprise. As I was saying, you've got Chevy with the Trail Boss, you've got the AT4s from GMC, which is about the same thing. You've got the Raptor, you've got the Rebel, you've got the TRX, you've got all sorts of vehicles that are coming to the market right now that are more off-road focused. But with a lot of those, you really aren't getting that much. So I'm going to bring you to my first point that with some of these off-road additions, you aren't really getting all that much. Chevy with their Trail Boss might have lifted their vehicle about 2 inches. However, you're still getting twin tube shocks, and although they might be slightly upgraded, you can definitely do better in the aftermarket. Same with the Ford Tremors. A lot of people are really excited and thinking that it might be a Power Wagon competitor or it might be a Raptor version of the F-250. However, really all they did was just upgrade the twin tubes a little bit and lifted it 2 inches from stock. However, this is after the 2021 truck already lowered the truck from the last edition. So it's an inch lower and then 2 inches higher, so you really only made up about an inch of what you would expect. And honestly, guys, this is just a way to kind of keep costs low by the OEMs. They are ordering vehicles by the masses, so they're ordering parts by the masses, and they're going to find what they can get to you for cheap while still saying that there's a little bit of an upgrade. Now, point number two is that it's still a production truck and it is still made for the masses. So with a production truck, a lot of times they're going to do stuff to pad their stats for their fuel economy. So you're going to get things like no stance. Those tires will actually be inside of the fenders, and you know what? It should look like a truck. If you want to build it, if you are off-road focused, it should look like a truck, in my opinion. Having a factory stance on a vehicle is just ho-hum. So you'll definitely be in the aftermarket anyways to try to get some wheels to make up for that. And that goes hand in hand with the fact that it is just made for the masses. So they're going to find wheels and make wheel styles that are more popular for people rather than the aftermarket where you have access to everything. You have stance, you've got lip, you've got concave, you've got off-road styles, you've got bro locks, you've got actual bead locks. There's so many opportunities to make your truck your own rather than every single truck that's on the road. If you are buying a vehicle to build, you can usually get a better deal on it by going a little bit more basic. They're going to throw incentives on at the end of the year for your Lariats, your XLTs, your Bighorns, your Laramies, your whatever Chevy does. They're not necessarily going to put any incentives on your TRXs, your Raptors, your Tremors, or anything at the end of the year. You also have access to the used market, where you've got the Raptors that'll retain their value and oftentimes get dealer markup just because they are so in demand, even though the truck has remained largely unchanged since 2016. I can go and grab a 2016 truck with different engine combinations for about 25 grand, whereas a used Raptor is going to run you about 50 to 65 grand, even though that's what they went for brand new. Even with vehicles like the Raptor and the TRX, there is a lot of support in the aftermarket where you can basically build a comparable kit. If you lift a Raptor, generally those are just spacer kits because they've tied all that suspension and all the components into the computers quite a bit. So you can't just pull them out. You can't just throw in a new shock or a new strut setup to get different handling characteristics to purpose build for what you need. There's a bunch more to do with it in deleting those systems. Even with the lift kits that do come with the Raptors, a lot of those are spacer kits. They're really just designed to get 37s underneath the truck. It came with 35s. So you're not really helping the handling characteristics or the performance by lifting those. There aren't too many upgrades that you can do to those. And oftentimes you can get performance coilover setups that will perform just like a Raptor or pretty darn close to it without the high-tech computer settings associated with it. And you can do that for generally about $15,000 to $20,000 less than you would pay MSRP. Plus, I will bring it back to the fact that the Raptor is still a production truck, so it's going to look like every single Raptor that's out there on the market. All right, guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. If you feel the need to give it a thumbs down, just click an ad and see yourself out, please. Cheers, y'all.